You're listening to the Roofing Success Podcast, a show created to inspire roofing contractors to achieve optimal success in their roofing businesses. I'm the host, Jim Aline, the co-author of the books Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors and The Best Known Roofer. I'm also the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, the leading digital marketing agency for the roofing industry. On each episode, I sit down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in roofing. Hey, welcome to the final episode of 2022 for the Roofing Success Podcast. Man, we've had a great year. Tons of great guests on the show, tons of great, really successful contractors sharing their stories, sharing their insights, sharing the lessons they've learned that have helped them find success. So if you found value in this, I really would, appreciate that. Hit that subscribe button, like it wherever you're at, leave us a review. My direct number is in the description of all of these episodes. Shoot me a text message. I've gotten some great text messages this year about how the show has been helping people launch their roofing businesses or better their roofing businesses. Had a conversation with someone recently where they said, every time I just kind of run into a problem or an issue, I just pop over to the podcast and I just do a quick search. I do a quick search as to where, the keywords I'm looking for on the podcast, and I'll usually find an episode that talks about that specific topic. So it's super amazing to hear those types of things, that the show has become such a resource to the community. And if you want to take the conversation beyond just what you're listening to here, go to Facebook, type in Roofing Success and join the Roofing Success Facebook group. So we're going to get started today. We're just going to go through some of the top clips that our team put together for the year, some of the favorite clips, some of the clips that had the most interaction and virality on social media, and then we'll just talk about them. So we're going to start off with Adam Bensman, episode 83. About inbound leads and how to close more deals with these 5 steps. So let's listen to Adam.
Thanks so much for calling. We'd be honored to provide an estimate for you for your roof. We do our appointments in 3-hour windows, just like the cable company, but rest assured, you don't have to sit around forever. So what we're going to do is just get your time set now. And within the next hour, you're going to get a phone call from the representative, project manager, whatever title you use, that's serving you to confirm the exact date and time. So would Monday or Wednesday be better for you? So we're first going to do the day. They say Wednesday. Say, great. So we've got 9 to noon, noon to 3, and 3 to 6. Which window is easier? Okay, Wednesday 3 to 6. Perfect. I've got you now Wednesday 3 to 6. Within the next hour, you're going to get a confirmation call with the exact time. If we don't reach you, we'll leave you a voicemail and shoot you a text message. Appointment converted. Do I even know who's available? No. Does it matter? Doesn't. All that matters is now that person isn't going to do what? Keep dialing.
So that was a great insight from Adam Bensman, the roof strategist. Little disclaimer, I work closely with Adam in his group called the Pitch Pro Movement. If you haven't heard about that, go check it out, pitchpromovement.com. It's a great group of roofing business owners and salespeople helping each other improve on a day-to-day basis. And there's amazing coaches like Adam Bensman, Deshaun Bryant, John Senick, Cody Landels, and myself to be humbly involved in that conversation. But talking about what Adam brings up in this point is that it's very important. There's really 2 sales that get made in the roofing sales process. And the first is the sale of the appointment. And when there is a gap in your business in that appointment setting process, your customer acquisition cost, your lead cost, your closing rates are all going to suffer because of that. So check out the full episode from Adam Bensman, episode 83. And now let's move on and talk about, get a little insight from my friend Nick Branon from Hero Roofing. Man, Nick and his dad run an amazing business down in Newton, Georgia. I jokingly refer to him as the mayor of Newton. Noonan, not Newton, the mayor of Noonan, Georgia, because of just his impact on his local community and how they've built such an amazing brand that really has an impact in their local area. So here's Nick talking about that.
And I told him when I started Hero Roofing, my father started Hero Roofing. Now he would drive me around neighborhoods. I'd jump out, knock the door, I'd get back in, he'd drive me to the next house, I'd get out, we try to be efficient with our time. And when I was knocking doors, no one knew who Hero Roofing was.
Yes.
We were the new kid on the block. So, that was the only way to establish business was to knock doors. So now, like for our salesmen going out knocking doors, at some point they have seen our logo and heard our name. So it is a lot easier for them to knock doors now. You have a lot of effective rate. But yeah, starting out, that's, like you said, before you market, you have to sell. And I think that is the quickest way to do is knock doors and post those roofs on Facebook. Knock doors, post on Facebook, get in every Facebook group you can. With our community, there's like 5 or 6 different Facebook groups where people will consistently post and they're like looking for a roofer, and there'll be like a free for all. There'll be a bunch of people commenting different names, and so that's one of the things was get our customers into those groups as well to comment for us.
That's a great insight from Nick. When you're starting your business, you don't really have a brand, right? You don't have authority. You don't have trust in your marketplace. So as you're growing your company, you can establish that additional trust over time. But in that beginning, right, there is a difference between marketing and direct sales. In the beginning of a company, sub $1.5 million in revenue, maybe even up to $2 million in revenue, I've seen a lot of great roofing contractors who have essentially, forced their way to that through their hustle, right? And Nick and his father are some of those people who, in the beginning, it was just drive around, knock doors until we got a deal, right? Knock doors until we get a job. And with that type of hustle, it creates a level of activity that snowballs. And then you begin to become known to the people in your market and become known in your community. And then it becomes easier, right? And then that second generation, the sales reps that you hire, they have a little bit of an advantage over it's like when your parents said they went walk to school back and forth uphill both ways in the snow. The struggle has already, a lot of the struggle has already been done, right? So you can create an opportunity for your future sales reps that is truly, truly amazing. So, and for your company, right? So, moving on to our episode with Dmitry Lipinski. It was our first in office in our new studio, our first live session in our new studio. And Dmitry came in and had a lot of great information about to share with us. This clip has gone viral over and over and over on TikTok. A couple times on TikTok, over 200,000 views on one clip, over 50,000 views on another. On Instagram Reels, tens of thousands of views on this. So I think it struck a nerve with people, and so I really wanted to share this one in our recap episode.
At this point, you can become if I want to open a drywall company, you probably know how to install drywall. Everybody knows how to install drywall. Yeah. And I would argue, if you want to run a roofing drywall company, you can start today, advertise, and then you will figure it out. That's right. The business of drywall installing is not installing drywall. Business of roofing is not installing shingles. People think it's most roofers think, it's all about. It's not. The trade part of it is only 20%, and I had 20%. I could install the roof, and I will install the roof. but that's not the business.
So I just have to say, this clip, man, there has been some comments, right? And we learned we had a lesson in TikTok. So this is a lesson in TikTok also through posting this clip and getting such virality, such a viral moment with this clip. Over 200,000 views, 50,000 on another episode. And what happened was there was a lot of people started arguing in the comments. And I just want to I'm just trying to find the clip here and some of the comments. I would be willing to bet a year's wages, $140,000, that you will never figure out how to hang and finish sheetrock good enough to get paid upon completion. So, this is what every guy who ever worked for roofing says. I wish people looked for roofers directly and cut these Google wannabes, right? And there's all these crazy comments going on in the TikTok comments, and so we learned a lesson in TikTok is that if you get people to argue in the comments, boy, that takes off. But let's get back to what Dmitry is actually saying in this clip and what the meaning is behind it. From my understanding, of course, he could explain it better in his own words. But in my understanding, what he's saying is that you have to be a business person, right? You have to treat your company like a business. It doesn't matter if you're selling roofing, drywall, goods or services, right? Whatever you're doing, treating it as a business and making sure that you're executing as a business owner, right? One of my favorite books of all time is a book called The Cash Flow Quadrant from Robert Kiyosaki. And in that quadrant, right, it has a quadrant. In the upper left-hand quadrant is E, the employee quadrant. And then below that is S. The upper right-hand quadrant is B for business owner, and bottom right-hand quadrant is I for investor. And the concept is that you start off as an employee and you learn a skill, right? So you learn a skill, and he's saying maybe learn how to install drywall or learn about roofing. You learn a skill. Then you take that skill and maybe you start off, you move to the S quadrant where you're self-employed. Now, when you're self-employed, you are the only person in your business, right? You wear all of the hats. Some people stay in that category. They become self-employed their whole life, which is a great thing. You can earn a great living. What's cool about business is it's your business, right? You can run it the way you want. You can get to the revenue levels that you want. You can shoot for the moon and try to be an 8-figure contractor, a multiple 8-figure contractor, right? Or you can be do $500,000 a year, do it all yourself, make $100,000 a year, and have a comfortable living, right? There's so many variances in it. But treating it as a business, right? Treating it as a business. So that's when you move into that business owner status and quadrant. And I was just talking to a contractor earlier today about her business, and she just said that there was a turning point when she started hiring people. And that's what happens when you all of a sudden you become a business owner. So the business of roofing is not installing shingles, right? That is the trade that is involved in this. Being a business owner is much different. So a lot of great insights from Dmitry on episode 90. Go check that out. But also a lesson in TikTok. Get people to argue in the comments. So moving on to episode 92 with my man Jason Payne. Check out this clip.
Find somebody that's already done what you've done and just copy it. It's really not that hard. I got this from a growth con at Grant Cardone's growth conference. He has a Rolls Royce that he wrapped like the Louis Vuitton style. Uh-huh. And I was like, dude, that's all. He wrapped his car in the entire thing like that. And it's a 10X, but the Louis Vuitton little stagger stuff. I was like, dude, that's awesome. So I literally did that on here. I didn't create this or make this up. Like I literally copied it from somebody that's doing something bigger, better, faster, stronger than me. And so that'll be my biggest thing is stop listening to your family and friends and go get somebody that's doing better than you. That would be my biggest takeaway. Even apart from like social media and the swag and the marketing and advertising, like stop listening to your friends and family, turn out the freaking radio and TV, and go find someone that's doing bigger and better than you, and go hook onto their hip.
And that's such great advice from Jason Payne, State 48 Roofing down in Phoenix, Arizona. They're down there. They're really a great company, crushing it out there. Going a little bit more in depth into that, right? There's that old adage that success leaves clues, right? So what he's saying is look for those clues along the way, right? Look for those clues along the way. I had another podcast episode much earlier on with a gentleman named Ryan Kettering from Prolific Brand Design, and he said that a lot. I think it was to the effect of, like, when we start off in business, we start off by copying, right? We start off by copying who we see in the business that we want to be. Like, who do we want to be when we grow up, right? And so we start off copying them. But then you get to a specific point in your business where you have to start evolving into your own self, right? And so it's just like, when I was a kid, Michael Jordan was it, right? So when we were playing basketball, it was like, I'm gonna be like Michael Jordan, right? Everything was about being like, right? But then as you progress, like, I never was able to get good enough at basketball to do my own thing like that. But you have to evolve and progress into your own thing, right? But you start with copying what other people do. Another one of my favorite quotes is from Picasso, and that's, good artists copy, great artists steal, right? And that just is an ode to that all of these things come together, right? You're looking around at cool brands, cool things, and it doesn't have to just be from someone in the roofing industry, right? You could look at someone in the HVAC and plumbing industry, the way they do their branding, or you can look at someone in you can look at even Apple and Coca-Cola and Nike in their marketing efforts and or you can look at the efficiencies of a company like General Electric, or in their production and things like that. Like, you can look for these clues not just within your business, and start pulling them all together, right? Just take a little bit from here. Wow, I like the way this is here. I like the way that is there. And all of a sudden, you started off by maybe, you were a sales rep for a company, and you started your own, and you're trying to do things just a little bit better than what was at your old company, right? But you still have a framework from that old company of how things were done. So, take what you have, evolve, and continue that evolution, but always be looking for opportunities and ideas to bring into your business. So next on, let's talk. Next on is a clip from episode 97 with Devon Bullard. Check out this clip.
I think that the way you do anything is the way you do everything, and I think that intention is everything. And part two of the intention is everything is that perception is real and its consequences. I learned that lesson the hard way growing up, is that how someone perceives your actions does not have to be how you meant them for you to still feel the consequences of your actions. And so for me, I learned that the hard way growing up. That's something that, I would react or do something, and it was not intended to be negative towards someone else, but it got taken that way. And so, having to think from that avenue, and make sure that you are intentional about everything it has been big. It's something that I still struggle with and work on every day.
That's a great kind of understanding of yourself, right? Or understanding of how people view you and how your actions affect everything, right? So the perception of your actions, right? Your action may be perceived differently than the way you meant it to be. And so if you're intentional in your actions, it's extremely important. So things that this makes me think of is in communication with a homeowner, right? Or with a customer. I see more bad reviews on Google that say they said they were going to get me an estimate and they never called me back. They did, and your action, was not to put them out, right? It wasn't to waste their time. It wasn't, in most cases, right? You just got busy with this or that and you weren't able to get that estimate together, get it over to them. There's these lapses in communication that we can intentionally fill to eliminate all of that perception, right? We could, if a homeowner has to create a question in their mind, they sign their contract with you, and you're like, all right, great. The team will let you know when you'll be on the production schedule. So all of a sudden they're waiting. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 5, they're waiting. In that waiting, they start having a perception, right? They start having a perception of a negative perception. But really what's happening in your office is, work orders being created, you're scheduling the crews, you're doing all the things behind the scenes. Those are your actions. Your action, everything is moving forward as planned. But that lack of communication with the homeowner about that changes the whole dynamic of your relationship with that homeowner and the potential for future business from them. So love that episode. Check out episode 97. On to episode 99 with Joe McDevitt and Wes Grant from Black and White Roofing. Check out this clip.
If you start noticing that everybody's copying off you, you're doing it right, because that's what happens to us all the time.
We also use a catch-all system. It's a nice banner.
Yeah. Just to have the logo everywhere. If it ain't in your face everywhere.
Something else we did a barbecue, got a pull behind trailer and had a barbecue in front of our customer's house, especially in neighborhoods where people walk all the time.
We did a shrimp boil too.
Yeah. We were handing out shrimp and burgers and pulled pork and hot dogs. And
free food, man.
We had more leads that day than we needed for the week. So, and it cost us a few $100, but I mean, that was a very good return on its investment.
We do. Hell, one time Tech 9 was in town, and I found out where they were eating lunch, and we just went over there and paid for their meal. And then we got free tickets to the concert. And then during the concert, they did a shout out to the whole concert that we bought their lunch.
So the first thing I want you guys to take from that is that when people start copying you, take it as a compliment. Right? Like, that means that you have reached a status, in your business that people want to mimic what you're doing. Some people can't be mimicked. And I'll tell you, these two guys cannot be mimicked very often, because of just the creativity that they use in their kind of their marketing, right? And they're just always trying to find ways to get their name out there. So they, some of the things that we talked about on the podcast, they have an excursion limousine that's wrapped that they take to lunch at the local restaurant, right? How outrageous is that? How outrageous is it that they found out where Tech 9 was eating lunch when he was in town and went down and paid for his lunch, got tickets, and got a shout out from stage? This does not, everyone's looking at how, the simple tried and true, the simple, hey, how many direct mail pieces can I send? How many Facebook ads can I do? What kind of pay-per-click can I do? These guys are thinking in a much different way. They're thinking about their brand. They're thinking about other ways to have intentionality. So, having how they said they brought food out and had a great event. Like, all of these things are just different ways and creative ways to generate leads for your business. So great job from them. Such a fun time talking to them. Let's check out this clip from episode 102 with Mike Roth.
Don't give up. Like, it's not going to be easy. There's times where you literally, I remember driving home from E-Town and Elizabethtown, Kentucky, driving home at 3 and 4 a.m. Like, missing, like I said, my family. And that's what it took. I remember trying to branch out. I did try to grow too soon. I done that mistake. It didn't kill us as a company, but we had one time we had an office in Elizabethtown. We had one in Cincinnati and one in Tays Valley, West Virginia. We were everywhere, and it was like I couldn't find the right staff to run the offices the way we wanted to run it and follow all the company thing, like the system we wanted to as a company. Well, I can do this, or I think if we done it like this, it'd help. I would, So stay consistent, stay small until you perfect it. Develop systems. Systems are duplicatable. Individuals are not, but you can develop an individual to follow a system. So I think that systematically, everybody should follow the same sales process. Everybody should do the same jobs, move them the same process. Like it should be the same. We went ahead and signed this one. We're going to put it over here. Do you have a contract? No. Well, don't put it in production. It's not there. So follow the system. Keep it simple.
So that's a really great insight into growth. Right, and into running a business also, right? Businesses have systems, businesses have processes. So as Mike said, they started growing. They opened an office over here, they opened an office over there, but they didn't have the systems for the people to run. So then what happens is you're leaving it up to the people. So now you have to hire people that have the right skill set that can develop that and manage that process. Not as easy as having a great process and a great system that then you can hire a right person to fulfill upon, right? So making sure that as you're growing your business, you're focused on building that strong foundation. That is done through your systems and processes. All right, let's check out the next clip from episode 103 with Ethan Andes.
If you have the yard sign, and I understood this early on, but you don't have the Google reviews. Imagine if you're a company that sucks and you've got 2.0 with 50 reviews. That really sucks. And so you go out and put out yard signs. And then people Google you and they're like, I don't think that's a guy we really want to deal with. You literally just spent thousands of dollars if you really invested in yard signs when you didn't work on your brand awareness and your company reputation and your customer service. Like you're shooting yourself in the foot. So I would challenge people before yard signs and throwing yourself out there, you have to have those processes and that basically that core value. Because I always preach it comes down from the top. Like you as an owner, if you don't look at the customer first and you say that you are a service business, those people want you. Like if you make it an unattractive relationship, they're not going to want you very much longer.
Reputation is key. And to expand on what Ethan's talking about here is really that your reputation online will make all of your other marketing efforts better. Check out the episode to listen to the strategies and tactics that Ethan has put in place for marketing his roofing company. One of them has been very strategically around yard signs, which was just a great brand tactic and led to a lot of lead flow in his business. But what he's saying is true, that if you're out there in the marketplace and someone looks you up on Google and you have a low star rating, or you just have not many reviews, right? Let's say you're a company that's been in business for 15 years and you're preaching your solid reputation, and then someone Googles you and you have 9 reviews on Google. Over 15 years, you only were able to accumulate 9 people that would say something good about you, right? It doesn't bode well. People trust those reviews on Google as much as a recommendation from a friend or family member. So if you don't have a good reputation on Google, make it a priority. That's where all the reviews go, to your Google business profile, your Maps listing, used to be called your Google My Business listing. Focus, get great reviews there over and over again. Then when you go and do other marketing efforts, let's say you're doing some Facebook ads and people go over and Google your company. Oh, wow, they have a great reputation. Or you're boots and knuckles door to door. They look at your company, right? They're considering your services. They Google you. They look you up. They see this, that this reputation that you have online. And again, people trust those reviews as much as a recommendation from a friend or family member. So that reputation is key, right? That reputation used to be spread word of mouth. Now it's able to be displayed on your Google business profile. So put effort into that, and it will exponentially make all of your other marketing efforts better. So let's check out the next clip from Tamara Chase, episode 107.
Like yesterday, I was doing this presentation and some of the girls from the office came to it. And one of the girls that is my key person on the phone, she's so good on the phone. Like I come in sometimes and I'm like, you sound so good. Like it's just delicious. And she got in front of everyone and she's like, hi, my name is, and she was so introverted. So it was so cool to see that in this arena, she's not going to want to go out and be the spokesperson for things. But internal, she loved customers. She loves that customer service, but she doesn't want to do it face to face. So it's just really interesting to hone in on where someone's strengths are, I know, like my husband's part of it. He has no interest in speaking in front of anyone. So he gets nervous when all you have to do is say, hi, my name is John.
There's a great book out there called Traction by Gino Wickman, and it outlines what's called the Entrepreneurial Operating System, or EOS. A lot of you have probably heard of it. One of the exercises that you go through in putting EOS in place in your business is you develop an organizational chart. And it's not an organizational chart of who's in your business now. It's it's a perfect organizational chart for your business. And then you write the names of the people you have and the seats that they're in. Some people may be in multiple seats, right? Someone may be in a sales role and a marketing role, or they're in a production role and an office management role, right? People are in multiple seats a lot of times. But one of the concepts here is getting the right person in the right seat. So you may have the right person in your business, but maybe they're not in the right seat. So that's something it's something to think about on an ongoing basis, right? When we're really, as you're developing your business is really your people, right? Your business truly becomes your people as you grow. And sometimes you have some great people and you're like, man, why are they struggling in this role? Well, maybe it's not the person, it's that they're in the wrong seat. So be very cognizant of the strengths and weaknesses of your team members. Really pay attention and get them in the roles that they can succeed in most. So let's check out, moving on, let's check out a clip from episode 111 from Steven Ragsdale. Check out this clip.
And we wrote out a prosperity plan. So basically the eulogy of what we would want this company to look like if it ever died, right? So we split up. He wrote his eulogy or his prosperity plan, and I wrote mine. And we even read, like, it has to almost make you tear up if it's going to be a true prosperity plan, right? Like, what is going to be the focal point of this company? So we did that. And when we got together, it was amazing how identical our prosperity plans were, with no pre-talk about it or nothing. So we're actually, in the talks that we talked about it, we're wanting to print it out and put it in our office and like put our prosperity combined plan together. That's way more important than a business plan, because the business plan is just about building money and how you're going to invest to get there. The prosperity plan is like, what are you going to do as a person and as a company to change people's lives or be the mission field that this industry can definitely use.
Man, that's taking your planning to another level, right? Like a business plan, maybe getting your goals in line, for the year or for a 3-year plan, things like that. But bringing it back to what he referred to as a prosperity plan, as writing a eulogy for your company, right? And what would you like your company? How would you like your company to be remembered? Which takes your focus completely out of, right? If you were, I guess, there may be some people out there that would write, my company made, X amount of dollars, right? Like, that may be part of the eulogy, but but the eulogy would probably be more around the impact that your business had on its employees, on the people in your community, on the customers that you served, right? And thinking in that regard, right, I thought that was just such another level of thinking. It's something that everyone should do in their business. So take some time, go back and listen to episode 111, but then take some time and write some of these things down. Write a prosperity plan for your business to create that meaning, right? That deeper meaning in what you do day to day. So now let's check out the next clip from Travis Kenny, episode 114.
Oh man, mind you, there's no shame in my game. I believe that anybody that's even just starting off, and if you're making a living for yourself, you can be happier than a guy making $10 million a year. But at the time, we probably did 800,000 in sales for the year, and I was like geeked. I was like, wow, I'm making more than my dad does at the mill. I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys will talk down, look down or whatever and think about somebody, man, if you're making a living for yourself, if you're doing 800 grand a year and you're making a living for yourself, a decent living, you're killing it. You should be proud of yourself.
Something to really think about. A lot of times we get caught up in the growth, in the top line revenue, and in those vanity metrics, right? How many people we have, how many crews we're running, how many reps we have, right? But really, you can have a really good business. I've talked to a few great contractors, and we have some clients who are in this situation where, they grew up in roofing, and their father owned a roofing business, and a lot of those roofing businesses that the previous generation owned, and they did, $500,000, $750,000, $1 million on a good year. And what that did was created a great living for their family, right? And that's such an important thing. Everyone's business is different, right? Know what you're in business for. If you're in business to make a great living for yourself, and you are making a great living and you're doing 800 grand a year and, maybe $1 million, maybe 500 on a bad year, $1 million on a good year, and you're seeing all the people flashing on social media, big checks and new trucks and all this stuff, man, it doesn't matter at all, right? What's cool about business is it's your business. And your business is here to serve you first, right? And in that, it's here to create the freedoms in your life. That freedom could be financially, that freedom could be through time, or the finances become the freedom, right? So there's so many reasons, and that's why I love this clip from Travis is just that we get caught up in the social media hype, I think, and really bring it back down to earth and understand. Take a look back, reflect on where you were last year, reflect on where you were 5 years ago in your life, and if you're in a great place now, and even if you're not, a $5 million company like you would hope to be, or a $10 million company by now, are you doing good? Are your bills paid? Right? Are you taking care of your family? There are things that are so much more important than just those top line revenue numbers and those really cool social media posts of those vacations. So let's move on to episode 115. With Adam Olson of Heartland out of Des Moines, Iowa. Check out this clip.
Everybody looks at these people that are ultra successful and they think that's God's gift to earth, right? He has it all and he's above everybody else, but that's a bunch of crap, really. It's they breathe the same air that we breathe, they eat the same food we eat. It's we're all on the same page, and it's just going out, getting after it, and thinking bigger. Just thinking, all right, how can we build this to get to this? How can we do whatever your goal is, whether it be, 5 million, 10 million, 50 million, 100 million, whatever it is, just and thinking bigger, and then getting a game plan and getting, again, the people on board with you that are going in that same direction and believe that as well too. So it's just the being optimistic about where you're going and just seeing it and getting crystal clear on a game plan to get there and just going after it. And that plan and where you're going is going to change over time. And that's fine.
So this is kind of expanding on the last clip, right? With Travis is talking about, hey, you're making a good living. Like, be proud of that. But I love where Adam goes with this, and it's not about just the numbers. It's just constant improvement in yourself. I heard someone say that like if you look back at yourself 10 years from now, I think it was Jocko or Ed Milet or one of those guys. Like, I think it was Ed Milet. Like, you should look back on yourself years ago and almost not recognize yourself, right? Like, you should always be trying to improve, always be looking for constant improving, putting a game plan together, executing, and bringing the people and the team together that helps you get to that, to where you're trying to go, whether that's $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, or $50 million, right? In revenue or in income or in whatever it is in your life. But always with the intention of improving. That alone, man, will make such amazing changes in your life, right? How many books did you read? How many podcast episodes did you listen to? How many educational, events did you go to and just try to become 1% better every single day and every single year? It's extremely important. So let's check out the next episode from Jim DelPreteEP, episode 117.
I didn't have any kind of client base. I couldn't just jump on Angie's list and get going there because they require you to have so many reviews. And honestly, I started with Home Advisor. And I know some people like them, some people don't, but it was a pay per lead kind of thing. And that got me the first $180,000 that I put on the books in the first 3 months. And then from there, again, at that point, I was doing the office stuff. I was swinging the hammers. I had guys working for me, but I do 110 hours a week now. I was doing 110 hours a week then, and half of it was physical, but yeah, you start doing everything. And as you start to get better, everything grows. More people come on, your reputations grow, your contacts with vendors and everything grow. Was it difficult? You bet your ass it was. And I don't know how else to say it other than that. Nothing ever worth getting or having is easy.
So continuing to expand on this, right? It's something that successful people do. They focus on improvement, right? Focus on constant improvement. So in the beginning, you might be swinging the hammer still, right? You may be, you're doing all jobs. But then as you continuously improve, bring people on board, learn lessons, right? We don't say take losses, you learn lessons, right? And all along the way, it's just a learning and growth environment. And it becomes something so much different, right? You become, it's not easy, right? But that's, if you embrace it, embrace the challenge, embrace the suck. I think that's like David Goggins or something like that, right? Like, embrace the pain that comes with doing something that will be to outside of the norm, right? Doing something, not everyone can do this. Not everyone can grow a business. It takes a lot of hours, as Jim was saying, 110 hours, but it was 110 hours before he was doing other things. Now, years later, the same 110 hours maybe, but he's doing higher dollar activities, right? So your role may change, accept that, but continuously focus on that growth. So now moving on to a clip from episode 121 with Chris Baldus.
So my best advice is simply find the right people and don't just accept whatever falls in front of you. Don't be scared to go after a guy that's outside the industry. Don't be scared to go after a guy that's already got a good job. Just because he's got a good job doesn't necessarily mean that he loves his job, right? Find the guy that you think could feel some. Who knows? You might change someone's life by offering them that job that you never thought would even think about accepting it. As I said, we got numerous guys here that, had a really good living. They had great careers and chose a different one and are happy as can be because of it. Don't just settle for whatever's out in the front yard, right? You just got to go find what works.
So those people, right, as we talked about a little bit earlier, is that your business becomes people. And through your growth, you're gonna have some challenges in that hiring, right? You're gonna hire the wrong people. A lot of times we hire the wrong people when we need someone now. Just give me a warm body, and we'll try to mold them into what we want them to be. But to be intentional, as we talked about earlier, intention from one of the clips earlier is it being intentional about your business and building your business and the people you want to bring on board. Don't be afraid, as Chris is talking about, to go after someone that you see as you feel is successful in their role at a different company. And that doesn't have to be another roofing company. It could be, at a car dealership. It could be, maybe they're a software salesperson. They could just, they're an engineer at the local, plant or mill or whatever it is. There are people out there that have exceptional talent. And we talk about it in terms of A players, right? You really want to hire A players. You can train them on roofing. You can't train them to be who they are, right? Like there are certain people out there that have a level of overachieving, right? That they're really good, and you want to find and identify those people and recruit them to be on your team. Don't just think of the only way to hire is to put an ad up in your local paper or on Indeed or wherever, on Facebook or, and hope for the best. Like you can intentionally always be looking for great people to bring into your business to take you to that next level. So let's check out a clip from episode 124 with our friend Martin Pettigrew.
It doesn't matter what your focus on. What we want to do is it's not about website. It doesn't matter how you do marketing. What he wants, the only thing he wants is to get referrals. He said, I win the second I tell Jim, you know what? I got Prime on my account on Amazon. I get it in 1-day delivery. You're like, what? As soon as I speak about Amazon and obviously in a positive way, Amazon win. He said the word to mouth is the most powerful thing at all marketing. That's what I want. But like you said, of course, if Amazon cannot be found online and you cannot find how much it costs and nobody's responding, there's a lot. But the triggers to get referrals, that triggers everything.
The most successful contractors that I know, that I've interviewed on this show, that we have as clients, that I'm just friends with, are the ones that turn one into many, is the way that I describe it. And the ones that turn one into many do that by doing a great job, right? They really do a great job and take care of their customers on a very high level. And what that turns into, and what Martin's talking about here, is once people start speaking about you in that way, once you start getting that word out, those referrals start to compound upon themselves. There's an old saying that the company that can pay the most for a lead will win, or a deal will win. This is how they pay the most, right? They're willing to pay the most because they know that with their processes, with the customer service that they provide, with the exceptional trades, the exceptional work that they do, that they will turn that one job into many, that one customer, that one homeowner will over time refer them many, many people. And so they have a long-term vision in their company. with the short-term vision of making sure that this customer is so well taken care of that they turn them into a raving fan, which turns into multiple referrals. So let's move on to our final clip, and that's episode 127 with Juan Reyes.
A good friend of mine that has a roofing company in Florida, in Naples, Florida. His name is Ken Kelly. And like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, he said to me, manage your business as you are, like you're looking at it in the rear view mirror. And that meant that was very profound to me, because then basically I'm the leader. I have the steering wheel. I have the gas, the brakes, and I'm looking at the business in the rear view mirror. It means that I have to be innovative. I have to be ahead. I need to kind of predict basically everything that's going to be ahead and make sure that I am keeping a safe operation for my business when it needs to be safe, but also when we are in a straightaway to really hit the gas.
Awesome advice. So, in the beginning of your business, man, there's that hustle that we talked about early on, right? With Nick Branon and then doing some of the little things right, like Adam talked about, and treating it like a business, as Dmitry talked about, and then really being intentional. And you may start off kind of copying what other successful companies are doing, but then as you evolve, you start copying or bringing in things that may not just be looking at another roofing business, right? You may be taking in things from all over the place to make things better. And then through all of this intentional action in intentional improvement in your business, you start building that reputation in your market, which leads to the type of company that you want to have a eulogy written about, right? And has a different level of meaning. And that reputation leads to referrals, like Martin was talking about. And then you become the driver of your business, like Juan talked about. And in that being the driver of your business and being the driver of your life, you're making the turns, you're putting on the brakes, you're pushing on the gas, you're deciding where you want your business to go. So moving into 2023, take a little time. Hopefully you'll get a chance to take a little time over the holiday season here and reflect on the improvements that you can make in your business. Get very intentional about what you want the next year to look like. We look forward to serving you again through 2023, and we have a great lineup of guests coming through this year. More great contractors sharing more great insights to help you find success in roofing. If you would like to generate more revenue through your digital marketing efforts, please visit roofermarketers.com to get a copy of the book, The Best Known Roofer. Also, check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to how to properly set up your Google My Business listing. Thanks for listening.